I have got to know these ladies the last 4 years, and I've really enjoyed working with them. They are going to give you a whole pile of information today, so come on up, ladies.
You made us sound better than we are, Brian. The pressure is on. Okay, so I gave everybody a handout. If you want to flip to the recreation side, I'm just going to give a couple rundowns of what's happening in Mi'kmaq this summer for recreation for big builds to start off. So early last year, we were able to receive funding from Building Sustainable Communities for the amount of just under $300,000 for a total of $6,000 project. And with that, we are renovating our swimming pool facility to enable better accessibility standards by improving the zero entry feature, getting a standalone water slide, and replacing the bricks around the pool. Just they're kind of on level, lots of tripping hazards, so we want to make sure that they're all flat and safe for everybody using. Riverbend, we're also going to relocate the parking lot to the east side of the pool. So access will be off of Hamilton, and that will hopefully increase the safety for users so people aren't running back and forth from the pool to the playground right through the parking lot. So we've had a lot of positive feedback on that, so a lot of happy parents. So that will be completed by the summer. In addition to the money received for Riverbend upgrades, we are using that money to do pickleball courts, which is number 2 on here, and tennis courts. So in the fall of 2021, we did all of the groundwork, which was getting the base ready to the A grade and starting the parking lot. So the parking lot at Hillcrest is all complete. It just needs to be flattened out this year and landscaped a little bit. And then the courts just need asphalt on top and then lines, fence, and nets. So those, hopefully, depending on when we can get our contracts in with Maple Leaf, when that gets rolling, they should be shortly after. So I'm hoping by end of June, July, optimistically, but we'll see. You know how construction is always delayed. Yeah, so that's it for the tennis pickleball courts, and that's all covered under the Building Sustainable Communities. Do you guys want to know like rough numbers of what each costs, or? Sure. Interested?
Yeah.
Sure? Okay, so for number 1, which is all of the upgrades at Riverbend, is going to be roughly $381,655. And that's give or take, just depending on how much the town crew can do to kind of reduce the cost outside contractors. And the tennis pickleball courts by the end should be around $240,000 for the, like, from start of parking lot and the base to completely done and usable. Also, if you didn't realize, we had a flood in 2020. It wrecked a lot of things around town, which was one of the soccer fields on the east side of the flats. So I believe it was used as a berm. Is that what it's called? So it was completely torn apart and then had to be redone. So we did some groundwork last fall and extended it further towards the east, so that we could have the field be regulation size. Before it was not. It was quite a bit smaller than it needed to be. So it was a child's field, not with the women's ladies couldn't play on it or anything. So we extended it to the east, built up in the swampy area, so it wasn't in the flood. It is in the flood zone, but not as low. So now we'll have another regulation, so we'll have 2 now, and we're going to complete the walking path around that joins the Canada 150 path that was installed in 2018-ish. So that'll be completed this year as well, and we're going to install the storybook trail along that path once that's completed. Number 4, so basketball is probably one of the top 3 sports that people are looking for in town, and they've been asking for courts for a long time. We currently only have the one out at Hillcrest right now that's completely finished and playable. So we are actually going to use Crocus Drive, which is out by the new CN subdivision. It has to be closed highways, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, does not allow access on that road anymore since we have another road. So that will be completely cut off from the highway, and the existing pavement will be used for 2 standalone basketball courts. Yeah. So parking and access will be from the back, know,
From the east side.
From the east side, yeah, where it goes around the curve, and then everything will be blocked off to have courts and potentially pickleball if we can figure out how to get a temporary fence or something there, because otherwise everybody will be chasing their balls with no fence for pickleball, so they'll be in the ditches and everywhere, but that'll be done this year, so people will be happy about that. And we have our regular events and activities, so we plan day camps for children between the ages of 5 to 12. They are ran all July, all August, Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 4:30. Last year we had about 400 kids register, so that's good. Yeah, hoping this year people are still going to attend and, you know, be ready to get out of COVID and take full advantage of that. And then we have Canada Day, which is July 1st. Sent you guys a letter for donations if you're interested.
I haven't seen it.
It was a couple weeks ago, so hopefully you got it. But no, we'll do our regular thing down at Riverbend. We're just going to shift it up a bit later in the day this year. So we used to start at 8 a.m. with the pancake breakfast, and we found people didn't really want to stick around the whole day. It was too long, hot in the sun. So we will be starting the events around 3 with a flyover from the Air Force, and then a kickoff to all our events: bouncy castles, live entertainment, reptile gardens, music, a bubble man this year, the typical everything. Power's out.
I'm good.
The camera still works though, right?
You just can't see us now, so.
Yeah, sorry about that. We're all,
You probably have a better idea than I do.
do you want me to just keep talking? You guys can.
You bet.
Okay. We'll also have 10 sessions of swimming lessons this year, which in previous years we've only done 8. So we're able to increase a little bit more this year. And last year we actually had record numbers, even though it was a COVID year. And we had over 700 and some kids, roughly. And that was our biggest year in the last 5 years. So even prior to COVID, our numbers were around the 400, 500 mark. And then this last year just took off. So that's why we increased the amount of sessions and availability for key people. We also had registration last week. And 400 kids have already registered as of last week. So it's crazy. I don't think we'll have many spaces open come summer. So that's always popular. And then just regular programming. So we offer first aid courses, mental health first aid courses, regular babysitting program courses, meet at the park play days and stuff like that throughout the summer as well. And I'm a really fast talker. I like to plow through it. So if you have any questions, let me know. Yep.
Is there anything in the works for a splash pad in the future?
Yeah, that's been tossed around quite a bit, and we did a rec study in 2018-19 based on it, and just about how many per capita we had and space and the cost to run, because it is a free feature. You have to think of the operating cost, and it brings in no money. So they kind of did some some positive and negatives on the potential of that. And I believe we went in the direction of making improvements to our swimming pool that could probably have splash park type features in the future, and then still get some revenue back, so that's not all on the taxpayers to pay for that. But yeah, it's definitely like features, splash park features are definitely in the works for the pool, if that makes sense.
Like
So-
we're talking 5 years from now?
Yeah, like we've looked at installing, those like water umbrellas that splash down and the guns and stuff like that. That would be integrated around the pool once the slide is up and running.
Oh,
Yeah.
Does the slide go directly into the swimming pool area, or does it, like I'm thinking like at Elkhorn Ranch?
Yeah.
The slide comes down,
Catch
doesn't
basin?
it? Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys can see on this tiny picture right there of the plan. It's extremely small. The slide is set back about 12 feet from the pool, so it does not exit directly into the pool. If we were to do that, it would take away from the space that we need for lap swim and a safety catch. So we decided to do a standalone one with a trough. Right. So you go in the slide and then you have a 8-foot, 10-foot trough that you land in and then get out and walk around. Yeah. Yeah, we decided to set it back a little bit further from the pool too, just for accessibility standards. So if there is somebody with a wheelchair or you know, you're set up, people are picnicking around the area, you're not kind of squeezing between the pool and the water slide and you accidentally get pushed in. So, yeah, just out of the way but close enough that people can watch their kids go around and loop and at a safe distance, yeah. And you don't have to worry about them falling in the pool and, you know, not being able to surface themselves, so it's a little bit safer.
And for the new parking lot, like, is it gonna be all built up?
Yeah.
So that it's like level instead of that big drop?
Yeah. So what I didn't mention is you can see in the plan this big white rectangle here. In the next 5 to 10 years, we will be replacing the building and putting it on the east side. So the building as it stands right now for the swimming pool is cinder block. It's not accessible. You couldn't take a wheelchair in there, or it's just not family friendly. So if the dad wanted to come in with the kids, there's not really a family change room. So it's just small, compacted, doesn't really suit the needs of the community anymore. So that building, that spot that you mentioned, that's kind of like a big drop off, will be built up. A building will be stuck on that side, and then the parking lot will be evened out at the same level halfway through to the green space. Yeah. So
Yeah, so that the parking lot and access to the building, it will all be accessible then.
it'll all be one level, and then the drop off will happen after the parking lot. Yep.
The vendor festival that you started last year, well, that's going to be your.
Tourism?
I'll
That's
save
Flip
my
side.
question. for
Okay.
later.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
she'll have that. Does anybody have any other questions?
Do you have trouble staffing your pool through the summer? Like, have you got lots of kids to work for?
It's hit and miss. The last couple of years, no. We've been really proactive about training staff and getting them through all of the courses that they need to train. I'm not sure if you guys heard, but Red Cross is ending their programming this year, so they're no longer offering swimming lessons, lifeguard training, WSI after 2022. So this will be our last year at the pool doing Red Cross lessons. So this summer we have a huge task. I think we have about 15 staff. They all need to take transfer courses to get all of their certifications to the Life Saving Society so that they don't lose their certifications totally. So that's a big task for us this year, is making sure all of our 15 staff have the courses that they need to transfer over so that they are good for next year, and then setting up new programs this year with the Life Saving Society so that we can offer the Bronze Cross, Bronze Medallion, and the National Lifeguard Service for the kids that are up and coming to be 15. So that we always have people taking the courses so that they're, once they turn 16, they're ready to guard and teach. So, no. It's been getting better, I think, yeah. Most parents kind of not push the kids to do it, but know that it is a really good job, and you're working outside all summer and it's a decent wage, so they are more apt to get them going into it. Anything else?
She's not leaving. So
Cool. Well, I'll let Marilyn, she's on the back, she's got some talking points.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, perfect. All right. Thanks for inviting us. We always like the chance to talk about what we do with other people, so instead of just each other all the time. So I'm just going to touch on a few topics, and then if there's questions, then we'll deal with them at the end. So first of all, Nicola's big news last month was our new census numbers were released. So, and I have to always think about it, 5,685 is our new population, which was a 22.3% increase. So we're really pleased with that number, and that then helps us as we plan moving forward. And there will be more deeper census information available as they roll it out. So the way the census information works is they release little bits of data at a time. And so now we have to wait. So to learn more about our housing and employment and all of those things will be rolled out over the course of the next year. So what that means for us is that we are Canada's 13th fastest growing community over 5,000. So that's pretty impressive for us, and that's the kind of data that I like to work with. Third fastest growing town in Manitoba. And certainly all the things that are happening here has put Nipua on the radar for a lot of improvements that have been happening here courtesy of funding from the provincial government. So locally, in the past year, 2021 saw 8 new businesses start in Nipua, which I thought was, again, another impressive number considering we were still fighting through COVID. And then a lot of other development. So from the residential development side, so housing, we saw the 46 lots go on the market from the CN subdivision, and all of those lots are sold. And just up the street, you can see the Cameron apartment building going up, so that will be 32 units. The Howden townhomes, which is the townhomes being built beside the apartment building on the CN property. That's going to be 128 bedrooms by the time that facility is fully built. And we're also working with Crescent Creek on modular housing development of 100 plus west of the water tower. So there will be a lot of housing coming over the next little while. From the commercial side, there is a lot of interest around the hotel sign that went up on the CN land as well. So that's an exciting investment of Best Western to recognize Nipua as an opportunity for a new hotel. And as investment continues to come in, they're hoping shovel in the ground in 22. So that will be a great addition to our town. Another one that is more of a transition is a transition of Team Electronics. So Kelsey from Venus is going to be opening there along with Mullen Sky General Store, which is a general store that Kelsey will have in addition to the hair salon that she currently offers. And the home hardware announcement recently was a big announcement, and of course the hospital. Everybody wants to talk about that, and but I'll wait and see what your questions are. And so there has been a lot of new business starts, transitions, but also expansions. So the Co-op Home Store was a huge expansion that started in 2021, and High Life also added a freezer out on their property in 2021. So moving forward from there, the commercial land, aside from where the hotel will be built, I'm continuing to market that and hoping to get some solid leads on some investors that would be interested in having commercial property out along the highway there. And I'm also increasing my marketing on the industrial park, which is out by Rocky Mountain Equipment. I've had a few nibbles on it, but nothing serious, and so I'm thinking just with the state of growth right now, it might be a good opportunity to increase the marketing, so I will be doing that. Other things that I've been doing, so Storefront Improvement Incentive, that program is available for businesses who want to improve the exterior front of their building, whether it's signage or windows or whatever. So that
That to be like.
that, I should have been in the middle of what's the and so this 21 was the third year of a 3-year pilot on that storefront incentive, and it has been there's been really good uptake, and council was really pleased with how well that program went, so it will continue past this pilot project. And already in 22, I've had 2 businesses approach me to access that program, so it's very popular. And speaking of what's the big idea, so 21, we got to run that event again. COVID shut us down in 2020, but so I worked with 5 entrepreneurs, and they won almost $10,000 in cash and prizes at that event. And so since 2015, when Minnedosa and Nipua ran the very first big idea, since then we've supported 39 businesses with $57,000 in cash and prizes. So that's been quite a successful entrepreneurship event, and really gives me the opportunity to work with those people who want to start a business. So it's a really great event for them. They get the support, the funding, that the provincial support agencies that can help them. The other side of that is I know who's starting a business in town, so I can nurture them past what's the big idea. Tourism, because Dave wants to talk about it. So in 21, Niqua Tourism did our very first Riverbend Makers Market. So it was Manitoba makers came for a day and a half and sold product down at the Riverbend Park. It was quite successful. We had over 1,000 attendees come through the gates that weekend, and the vendors were very happy. They came from all over Manitoba to be at this event. So in 22, we're going to be running the market again, but we're going to make it bigger and better because we can't leave well enough alone. So alongside the Makers Market, we're going to hold a Rock in the Riverbend event. So there will be some live acoustic music through the market during the day, and then on the Saturday night, we're going to do Manitoba music at Riverbend Park. So it's going to be live and fun, and just a good way for people to stay a little bit longer in Niqua and enjoy more of what Manitoba has to offer. Also in 22, we're going to do Riverbend Market Antiques Edition. So next month on April 23rd, we'll be doing Antiques Market at the Yellowhead Arena. So you'll see more information about that out and about, but mark your calendars. The other thing that we did in 21 was the drive-in. Niqua Tourism ran that drive-in movie in September. And so that was fun to do because we've had lots of people asking if we could do a drive-in. And so that was supported through funding from Travel Manitoba that allowed us to do that. It's not an inexpensive venture. That setup cost $10,000. So we couldn't have done it on our own. So Travel Manitoba has been very supportive of the work that Niqua Tourism is doing. And that's just one of the many things they've supported us with special COVID funding over the past 2 years. And we've done some other things around town. You saw the new banners that went up along Mountain. We've got wayfinding signage completed and sitting at Provost waiting to be installed this year to help people find some of our points of interest. So you'll have to watch for those. What else do I do? Partnerships. So I work with the Chamber of Commerce. So the Chamber Fair is back up this year. So the last weekend in May, mark your calendars. The Midway will be back and the social on the Saturday night. So that's going to be a really great opportunity for the community to feel like things are coming back to normal. And yeah, watch for more marketing on that. Nicole is chair of that committee and is working on some posters and
We also sent letters
Oh,
for support.
Yeah, so there's a letter for that too. Yes. I'm also working with the Chamber to do my annual business survey. So since 2015, I've sent out a survey to businesses so I can kind of track how things are going and the trends. And so I will be doing that shortly. Tomorrow, hopefully, I'll send that out. And also working with the Chamber on shop local projects through COVID to really encourage people to continue to shop at our local stores as much as they can. I work as well with Settlement Services and Westlake Employment. There are several small projects through the year that I work with them on. Specifically right now, hasn't come out yet, you're hearing it first, I'm going to host a job fair on the 27th of April right here at Arts Forward. So I will be partnering with the Chamber to get that out to businesses. So any business that wants to come and set up a table and recruit employees, we'll do it all in one spot. And so, yeah, I will be sending that out to businesses, and then I will also be marketing to job seekers closer to the time to let them know the businesses that will be here, that they can just bring their resumes and talk to businesses face to face. So, working on that. The other thing that I am working on specifically for the new hospital announcement is local training for post-secondary for those jobs that will be introduced because of the new hospital coming. So I've been working with Prairie Mountain Health to better understand the employment demands that the new hospital will have. And then I've also been in conversation with the Assiniboine Community College to see what they can do perhaps to come to Niqua in the short term. I'm not asking them to set up shop here, but like over the next 4 years, there's going to be demand for that increased training. And so I'm working with them to see if we can find a way to get them to do not just nursing, but also when you think about it, like administration and tech and IT and like all the maintenance and all of those positions that will be increased because of doubling the size of the hospital. So I think that would be important if we can get some of that training done locally. Yeah, that's probably good. Let me know if you have any questions.
Oh, here they come.
Ready?
I've got several, but I'll start off with modular housing.
Yes.
What is the definition of a modular house?
That is a Jeff Braun question. It's kind of like the, I want to say similar to what is out in West Crewe.
Okay, but the specs for the house aren't any different as far as insulation and whatnot regarded in any other residential house? Is that?
That is a Jeff Braun question.
Okay.
We'll bring him, invite him. And don't tell him I said it.
It's on tape, sorry.
We have the evidence.
My second one, there was some talk earlier on about a stage at Riverbend Park. Is that something, you know, for your music that you're doing, is that something that's under consideration at some point in the future, or?
I think you're probably referencing like a pavilion type building for events and activities.
Yes.
Yeah, that's in the plans for Riverbend. That's not this phase. It's probably phase 2 or 3. So right now, phase 1 is the swimming pool, tennis courts, and then phase 2, 3 will be the pavilion structure as well as water play features, increased paths, walkways, electricity, stuff like that.
And for now, like there is a bit of a platform built at the flats, right through that Canada 150 trail, the side of
Yes.
that. There's a bit of a performance, but no roof over that. But I've applied for a grant to see if we can get it.
One other question, do you have any way of tracking money spent locally through COVID? It's my perception that through COVID, we've had a lot more of the paychecks spent in Niqua as opposed to Brandon or Winnipeg. Do you have any way of tracking that or any feel for what that has done?
I have anecdotal evidence only. Typically, businesses don't share their books with me. But anecdotally, I've heard businesses that have had like their best months, their best years ever during COVID, which to me proves that, I mean, we weren't going to Brandon, we weren't going to Winnipeg, and we realized that we could buy so much more here than we ever thought. But yeah, no, I mean, when you look at we didn't lose any businesses to COVID. So that's just an indication of how much money was actually spent locally, and people really committed to that. So, yeah.
That's great.
I think you're ahead of the game.
Well, getting back to the summer festival, it's for vendors, makers market, you call
Yes.
it, so on, and you're going to expand it to music. Is there going to be an expansion further for other ways? Like the Rotary Club is interested in being involved, for example. Always looking for ways to promote the club and Rotary in general. And wondering if you're, are you expanding the type of vendors that you have? Is there more food vendors perhaps? Is there Can you expand on that?
Yes, so Kelsey Wilson is the chairperson for the Riverbend Market. And yeah, so she has set the parameters for the type of vendor that will come to that market. So, which is why we're doing the antiques market, right? So maybe there's more opportunity, but it's all about products made, like handmade products is the purpose of the Riverbend Makers Market. As far as Rotary Partnership, I am all about creating partnerships, so I would be more interested in knowing what kind of partnership you'd be interested in. That event takes lots of volunteers, if that's what you're thinking, or there's some other way that you could be present. As far as the food trucks go, last year we only did one because of COVID, but we've invited more than one food truck this year to support the event. Do you have something in mind, Dave?
Well, I suppose Rotary could do a food thing. We've done pancake breakfast, for example, or
Okay.
things like that. I mean, those are a couple of things we talked about. Or a tent of our own to promote Rotary.
Yes, that would be not typical of what we would have
Right,
at that event. But that's not to say that, like, I don't know, or in cooperation with Arts Forward, what I would like to see is the whole town embrace the fact that we're bringing thousands of people to town. So we want, working with the chamber to get businesses to do maybe sidewalk sales or something like that. So they're not just driving for the market, they're driving to experience Nicowa. So perhaps there's a pancake breakfast that you could do that would be, I don't know, through here and open to the public, or I don't know what's available down at the flats for canteen-wise.
Nothing that has
Not,
to do with.
yeah, so, but certainly, let's talk about it for sure.
What's the date?
The 22nd, 23rd of July.
Was that the event, Dave, that we had discussed, Shelter Box?
Yes.
Yeah. So what Dave is sort of alluding to is Rotary International and our club supports an initiative called Shelter Box, which are portable homes that are sent throughout the world for disaster relief. So, for example, when the Philippines got hit with Hurricane Raj or whatever it was, Rotary through Shelter Box supplied these literally big boxes. So what we had discussed at the club was an opportunity, an event, where we could actually acquire one of these kits, set it up, and so it wouldn't be necessary to be a vendor,
Right.
but it would be a heightened, of course we have a significant Filipino community here that we're hoping would support, but also possibly a recruiting tool for our club.
For sure. I'm thinking that the Chamber Fair might be a good opportunity for you to do a display like that as well, because at the Chamber Fair we do those various things, face painting and those different things. So it might be possible for you to be there with the shelter box. That would be a really great addition to the fair too.
And that's the end of May, right?
Yeah, the last weekend in May. I'm not sure how quickly you can get one.
rains that weekend.
No?
No way, the last time it was sunny.
Well, that's the long weekend.
Yeah, so I'm not sure how quickly you can get one of those
I think
boxes.
we've got one available.
There's one available in Brandon and it's
Okay.
available, so.
And Canada Day too,
Oh,
maybe you could put it on site at the Canada
We'll
Day
talk about
event.
that at the business meeting.
So there's, yeah, not just the Makers Market opportunity.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Will.
Marilyn, I was wondering, is there any room in your agenda for that summer vendors and all the entertainment down there at the park? Is there any room in your agenda for, in the spirit of reconciliation, to include some Indigenous Métis entertainment and sharing of their culture with our community and the tourists that come in?
Absolutely, I think that we should be looking for that opportunity at every event, whether it's the fair or the Canada Day or the Makers Market. Jeff Descender of Frozen Fire Studios is the man who's looking after he sits on tourism board, and he's looking after the Rock in the Riverbend portion, and I will talk to him at our next meeting and see what he's doing.
And I would be willing to volunteer to help
Thank you.
arrange some of that if there was interest.
Okay,
I'm not sure whether I could arrange it,
to add to that too, I'm not sure if Yvonne's listening or she knows, but she also has a really big day planned for the National Truth and Reconciliation Day in October. Is it
Yes,
September?
Yvonne just
And
mentioned
last-
it to me today.
Yeah, so there is a huge plan in the works for a day in Iguawa, so that's also coming up.
I don't know if you can directly answer this or not, but I've heard multiple rumors that High Life is going to be going through another significant expansion. Is that?
I don't know of any significant expansion. I understand that they will be working on efficiencies all the time, so, but I can't speak to any expansion plans. Sorry.
Yes. In healthcare, how long are we going to wait to know for the new facility?
Oh, the burning questions.
When the province tells us, like, we don't know, right? Like,
No, I
it's
know.
a provincial procurement process, which you can only imagine.
It could
Even
take-
just saying that word. But, I mean, their intent is to have shovel in the ground, so, but, you know, they have to negotiate with landowners and.
But it will come through the government.
Oh, yeah, it's not our decision.
No.
Right, it's not a town of Nicole decision.
Good to
We
know.
provided options based on what their parcel of land they were looking for.
Perfect.
And now we would, yeah, it's not like we've got a secret, we're not telling. That's me with other things, but not the hospital. So,
But it's good to know because lots of people are questioning and it's good to be able to tell them it is a government decision, it's
Right.
not local.
right, it
And
is
that
not.
stops rumors.
Right, absolutely, absolutely. No, there's still rumors. But yeah, it just, yeah, it takes pressure off council for
Exactly.
sure, like they're not hiding.
No,
So once it's announced by the province, then,
but that's good to know.
yeah. That's it? That's the only question you have?
For now.
Okay.
Maybe I will take the opportunity. The Rotary fiscal year is July 1st to June 30th, so we're coming to the end of our current fiscal year. So leading into the new fiscal year, we will start talking about Rotary auction that takes place late in the fall. And one of the discussions we always have in the club is what will be our primary recipient of the funds that we raise through that initiative. And so we're sort of on I won't say an immediate fact-finding mission, but we are certainly looking for opportunities to partner in the community. We do know that the middle school is looking for some funding, but you know we sort of want to be able to prioritize what is the what's the highest priority within our community. So it's just more of an invitation that should there be an opportunity or a desire to partner with Rotary, and I will say in a medium funding role or minimal, but that certainly reach out to us either through Brian or directly, because I think we're going to start looking or getting our ideas together.
And vice versa. 476. So don't call Nicole. Call me.
Speed dial. Is there any other questions for the ladies? Well, I'll take the opportunity of saying thank you very much to both of you.
Thanks for having us.
I know from a personal perspective, and certainly I think within the club and the community, I think the better informed we are about what's happening in our community. We know it's very vibrant, but it's nice to know what is happening, both from a recreational and an economic development perspective. So we thank you very much. Normally, I have super pens, Rotary pens that we present to our presenters that then you can use to sign those fancy new contracts that are going to be happening. So unfortunately, Bob, I didn't realize Bob wasn't going to be here today. He's my source, so I will deliver to your offices these very special pens.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
again.
having us.